guest. We welcome you and appreciate your attendance. Supervisor McGowan, Supervisor Simpson, Supervisor Leggett, you are all on stream, and there's Mike Wild again, welcome, and Ed Bartholomew. I see you in the background. I think the first order of business will be to approve the minutes of our last LDC meeting, which included March 24th, the sole member minutes, the audit and finance minutes, the annual board minutes, and then the regular board minutes. Can I please have a motion to approve that? Supervisor Simpson, seconded by Supervisor McGowan. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Ed, did you want to start with number 2 in terms of
Sure.
March financial statements?
March financial statement, there has not been any significant movement up or down. We did not provide any loans from our loan portfolio during this period of time. And then basically it remains within our budget at this particular time. So a very short, brief point, nothing outstanding in terms of expenses going forward for the month of March. Pretty standard month for our March financials at this point.
Good, very good. That being said, can I get a motion to approve the financial statements for March 2020, please? Supervisor McGowan, seconded by Supervisor Leggett. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Probably, I think at least in my opinion, the most important part of this meeting is number 3, and Ed will have an opportunity to discuss. I think an exciting development as it relates to a loan program for businesses in Warren County. And I believe it will provide an opportunity to in some small way just help businesses that are struggling, and there are a lot of them out there that are feeling some pain. So Ed, if you'd be kind enough to maybe get us started on that would be appreciated.
Absolutely. As we know that there have been several programs that had advanced itself during our crisis here, and as we know, last Thursday, the entire $350 billion had been expended. For comparison purposes, I just wanted to mention that of the payroll protection plan, 41,000 businesses in New York State did receive funds totaling $11.7 billion. The leading state was Texas, which received 88,000 applications and approved with a total of $21 billion. There is expected to be this afternoon a vote in Washington by the Senate to approve another round of payroll protection plan, as well as inclusion of funds for the hospitals. Unfortunately, the last component of state and local government was not successfully negotiated by the parties and will be hopefully coming up sooner than later. Under the proposal, Warren County would have received $5.6 million, along with every municipality sharing in that. It's hopeful that they will return in May to complete this. My concern is that if they don't move quickly, there's a growing movement in Washington indicating that they've spent too much money, and therefore we don't want the door shut on counties, towns, and villages in Warren County. So part of the original proposal for the payroll plan had some obstacles for the very small businesses here, particularly in Warren County. One of them dealt with the sole proprietorships or one or two individuals. Sole proprietorships were not able to apply until 2 weeks ago on a Friday, and by that following Thursday, last Thursday, they ran out of money. So as a result of that, many of your small businesses were shut out. Some have received notification to reapply, or some have received that your money is in the pipeline. It's unclear how that will shake itself out. But also, a number of community banks originally did not participate, and the majority of credit unions in this area did not participate. SEFCU was the lone exception for that. So in the discussion and the number of phone calls that we have received, in addition to our major manufacturers in the area that we had discussions with in midsize, there is this element of small businesses from a sole carpenter, perhaps, not perhaps, but in Chester, to other small businesses throughout the upstate area of Horicon, Chester, Thurman, Stony Creek, Queensbury, and so forth, that really needed to have an extra boost. And so what we have proposing here today is a loan program of up to $15,000. And I have put a caveat in there that under special circumstances, there may be consideration for increasing that by perhaps a few $1,000s if circumstances warrant. The interest rate would be at 4% for a loan of up to 4 years, no prepayment. And also, the first principal and interest payment would not come until the third month after they get approval. So for the first 2 months, again, we're trying to ease into this. There would be no payment owed by the individual for those respective months to go there. Also, we put on some other criteria. This is not someone that is coming to us and saying that we'd like to open up a business. This is for a business that has been in business for at least 2 years and has been impacted by our current situation. Also, there would be a requirement for a personal guarantee. There would be some requirements of having some additional information, as I've outlined in the 2-page proposal, that requires us to do our due diligence on. But our goal is to move this program out quickly through placement. I'll be talking to Rob and IT right after this meeting, if we're successfully approving this, to get this on our website, in the county main website, EDC's website, through the newspapers, as well as undertake an advertising campaign in the paper and so forth. I talked to the Sun for northern distribution, as well as we'll be speaking with the Chronicle and the Post-Star to place some ads in immediately, and some radio ads as well to get the program going. I think it's important that we have the ability to have these applications come in to EDC's office by email, scan, fax, or hand delivered, or by mail, preferably the alternative to mail at this point, and so that we can immediately have a review of this and make arrangements so that we can meet on a expedited basis. We certainly are not going to wait till next month to review these. I would expect that we would be receiving some applications very soon, and that we would like to meet. And perhaps this is one advantage of having the capacity for Zoom right now, rather than having to call everybody down from your busy chores at the respective towns. And for Brad with his work in Queensbury, we're going to be able to do this on Zoom with proper notification in order to move this along. So the other factor is that this loan would not be available for someone who has received an SBA loan or other government loans or private loans during this period of time. This is really strictly for those businesses that are in need of some money. Now, obviously, everybody would love to be able to get a grant, and we've encouraged every single one of our single proprietors to, and we've assisted with some to get that in there. But to the Treasury experts, banks, and others that follow this indicate that they expect that after this bill is signed, probably Tuesday or Wednesday, it will only take 3 to 4 days before this money is gone, that it will be out the door that quick. And so therefore that again points out the need to have a vehicle for us here in Warren County for our small businesses to be able to assist and going forward to keep these businesses protected. And I think everybody is hopeful that we can open up businesses. I think that there probably will be a fragmented approach with some manufacturing being able to get out the door quicker than others because they don't have a large inventory. Some manufacturers in our area may have large inventories, so therefore they may not be able to get out the door as quickly. In our tourism industry, we don't really know how that's going to occur yet. Mike Wild has put the task force together by Chairman Frank Thomas, but that may be again a slow rollout, and the questions there come up. But our focus here for the LDC, and Peter is the chair, is right on this, is to help these small businesses in this time of need. I would expect that out of our portfolio of $900,000 that's available, initially we would look at a figure of approximately up to $200,000. So if you divide that by a maximum of $10,000 to $15,000 each, there is a substantial number of businesses that we can help. Again, I reiterate that we do have, I'm actually talking to 3 different individuals right now who have a very optimistic approach toward Warren County, and are actually talking about our regular loan program. So that's encouraging, as well as to provide this first step. So that's a summary. I've done enough talking, and answer any questions or comments that you might have on this.
Thank you. And I see a series of hands that have been up. The first hand that went up was Supervisor Merlino and Supervisor Simpson. And then I think did Supervisor McGowan have his hand up? I don't know if he did or not, but no. Okay, so Supervisor Merlino.
Ed, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Sure.
All right. I think this is an excellent idea and an excellent program. I have one question. Under your column of details, Warren County, the 4th one down says 12/48 year term. Do you mean months or years?
That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? 48 years?
I would take that in an instant.
A
dollar a year would be good.
We will correct that. You know, sometimes I don't know what happened there. I revised this last night at about 10 o'clock, and sometimes the computer kicks it out, or I kicked it out. So that will be corrected to months, 12 to 48 months, not 12 to 48 years. By then, Claudia will at least hit the age of 40 by 48 years, I guess, right, Claudia?
Supervisor Simpson.
Come on.
Hi, Ed. I think this is a great idea. I just question why we would even charge the $125. I don't know what those costs are, but it seems like we should. This is the time when we need to use our resources.
Yeah, I think the cost basically is for some recording feeds that they're partially responsible. But it says up to $125,000. I don't anticipate that to be near there, but I think that just. We're not charging an application fee, and I think that it's helpful sometimes to have a little bit of, we'll do it on a case-by-case basis, but I think that it's not an unreasonable amount to expect in a loan situation like this. But I defer to the committee if you want to, waive that. Doing that, obviously, we're going to be using Bob Terwilliger in Mary in the county attorney's office so that we're minimizing any legal fees. And as I said before, we're not charging administratively any percentage of our loan as well. So I think that we've tried to do the best in our interest rate. I think is reasonable at 4% now. So that's I defer upwards on, on doing that.
Any further questions out there? Supervisor Leggett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Lake George, Lake Champlain Basin, or not basin, what is it? Regional Planning Board is also doing a similar item as this as well. So this is a good project.
Thank you, Craig.
Supervisor Bramer.
Thank you so much. Supervisor Hogan and I are trying to follow along with the materials. We just wanted to make sure the application fee you're talking about is now at $125.
No, there's no application fee.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Tell
There's
me.
no application. There's expenses that include perhaps some recordations of paperwork that they may be normally assessed. There may be some charges there, but there is no application fee.
Okay. Well, that's great. And then
So when a person comes in, Claudia, the application, there's no, normally you have the application be accompanied by an application fee. There is no application fee per se.
Okay. Okay, that's great. And I know I had mentioned last time about lowering the interest rate. I do appreciate you lowering that a little bit. I think we could lower it even more if you guys could consider that. I mean, it's a short-term loan, but I know the SBA loans coming out right now are ranging from 1% to 3.75.
Well, again, but they require immediate payment. We're deferring for 3 months, so you end up having a little blended rate that would get you before under 4%. And there are some additional fees. So I think that again, that's up to the committee. But I think that 4% for the amount over up to a 4-year period is reasonable amounts of money to pay back on the loan issue.
Very good. Any further questions? Basically, the issue of as Supervisor Simpson brought up in terms of the closing costs, are we comfortable with what's on the table right now? Just throw that out there for anyone to comment on. Supervisor McGowan.
Yes, no, I can sympathize with Supervisor Simpson, and I understand that. But I mean, like I said, this is a short-term goal that I agree with Ed, and the interest is fine. Like I said, we all have skin into it, and I hate to say it's beat them up. It's not like we did this. We're all suffering, and we're all going to have to team together. And it's not like it's a huge money-making business. What it is it's a survival. So I'm happy with all the terms that Ed has presented. I
agree with you. I think the last thing we want to do is be in the negative column when it comes to this. I think the terms and conditions are reasonably attractive, and I think this program will fly. Supervisor Hogan.
Good morning. I just have a question. Could you guys walk me through the decision to make it a requirement to have been in business for 2 years? The reason I'm asking this is I have 2 large businesses that haven't. So I just wanted to know what the logic was there.
Well, the logic is that you need to have some kind of basis. This is not a startup loan per se. This is to have existing businesses, and 2 years gives a sufficient basis to be able to review their financial reports, as well as for the business to be able to assert that they can show and have a record of their first year and their second year, and indicate what has now happened. In other words, a person has to be able to show that the current situation has impacted their business specifically, not in speculation, and not in guesswork. And by doing this, we're able to have a record and to be able to do our due diligence, as it is taxpayers' money that we're spending here, to be able to stamp approval on that particular loan. And again, the purpose of this from a major small business perspective is that we're looking at 20 employees. That would include full or part-time employees or less, so that we're trying to hit those that have basically not been served by the loan programs currently promulgated by the federal government.
Understood, but I've got, there are businesses that have started up within the last 6 months that could really make a big, so they are running. They can't give you 2 years of their own financials, but they can provide past ones. But so for instance, in North Creek, we have those 2 lodging. We know we desperately need lodging. They can't access any of these other programs. And now they can't access this one either.
Well, they certainly could apply for a regular loan through the LDC at a much higher rate. If you're talking about the new owner of the hotel there, that person, it would be eligible for a interest loan that the LDC can be flexible in and not limit them to $15,000. I think that they probably be looking for more than $15,000 for their current status.
Well, right now they're looking for anything, just like everybody else.
Sure.
So, thank you, Ed.
Okay.
Thank you. So did we put a motion on the floor to approve the program as proposed by Ed? We have a motion by Supervisor Simpson, second by Supervisor McGowan. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Matter is carried. Ed, I'm sure you, after the meeting, will communicate to all the parties at hand. I know I was speaking to Don Lehman a little while ago, and he would like to, get the message out as quickly as he can. So thank you, Ed, for the plan.
You're welcome. Once I correct Mr. Merlino's years to months, we'll be set to go here.
I think that would be a reasonable thing to do. So we thank you, Gene, for that suggestion.
I just want to
48 months as opposed to 48 years. So,
I want to just point out that this other loan, our existing loan program, is available to assist companies that are larger. And again, the LDC board has the flexibility to provide, more additional money than this. This is really kind of geared up for. And certainly if there is a company that has been in less for 6 months, we certainly would not necessarily initially turn that down and would take a serious look at that to evaluate that. It's just sometimes difficult. We do need, from a due diligence, to have some kind of financial record to compare to see how they have been impacted during the course of this, and not speculation. So all of the small businesses that we've talked to, we've indicated to them that they need to provide us evidence, such as an example of if they've had cancellations of various orders, to be able to document to show that those cancellations came in by email or a phone call and recordation. in the same if they're in other businesses of restaurant and catering, where there has been in a small takeouts, where there's been some cancellations, to be able to show that they have been hurt, and they can show that this is a period last year at this time. These were the kind of orders, that I was getting and so forth there, so that we're able to document that and have that when we provide the loan to the individual. It's not attempt to slam the door on the applicant. It's attempt to open that door for them and to help them assist, as well as we'll certainly look at less than 2 years, but they may be eligible for a larger amount through the normal loan program with this. So
Thank you very much, Ed. Number 4, did you want to talk about anything relating to the review of the loan portfolio?
No, I'm going to be sending a memo out on that. We are having an experience with one loan applicant, loan recipient again, that I've been working with the county attorney on in terms of restoring his monthly payments.
Great. Thank you very much. No executive session, I assume? Or? No, thank you very much. Any further matters that anyone wishes to talk about regarding our LDC? Seeing no hands, can we get a motion to adjourn? Supervisor Merlino, seconded by Supervisor Leggett. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.